Welcome to SourceCAD. Now, let's be real. Roofs in Revit can feel simple until they are not. You start with a gable, and suddenly you are knee deep in dormers, curves, valleys, and weird shapes that don't quite follow the rules. Sounds familiar? Well, in this video, Paul is walking you through the entire roof making process in Revit, step by step. Now, he'll cover everything from basic forms to advanced geometry and even Lumion integration. Here is what is inside this video. You'll start with gable, haped, and dormer roof designs. He'll then talk about custom sketch based and M shaped roof, then a moonlight roof for something more dynamic, and even circular and hexagonal roofs for those unconventional layouts. And finally, you'll learn about how to bring it all into Lumion for clean presentation and visuals. So, whether you're designing for residential, commercial, or just exploring Revit creatively, this video has something for you. Let's jump in and start building from top down.
So in this case, we're going to be using Autodesk Revit 2025, and these are the main types of roof that we're going to be looking at. The first one will be gable roof, then free sketch roof, then M roof, then moonlight roof, then the dormer roof, then the hipped roof, then the hip and valley roof, the hexagonal roof, and the circular roof. Having said that, I have a project that I just have the roofs empty, but I have the tags added here. So let's start with the first one, which is a gable roof. So we usually design or place the roof at level 1. So I'll just simply navigate to my project browser, double click so that I have this one open. Then I'll hit on WT on my keyboard so that I have these two side by side. And by the way, if you're interested to learn all about the shortcuts in Revit, kindly check in the description where I have attached a completely free ebook that you can use to learn. Alright, so let's get started. So the first item we're gonna be designing is the gable roof. So what is this gable roof? It's quite simple actually to design it. You just simply navigate to the architecture tab. Under the build panel, you're gonna see this option of roof command. You're gonna use this drop down option, and you have so many other types of option. The first one being roof by footprint. As the word suggests, is just simply gonna use the outline of the walls that you have, and you're gonna come up with the roof in accordance to the footprint that you have. And then you have an option of roof by extrusion. So this is simply like a free sketch. So you simply first come up with a simple line or a profile, and then you're just gonna simply press pull if you're familiar with AutoCAD. Then you can also use this option of roof by face, especially when you're working with the masses. This is one that we have covered, and I have attached a video down in the description. Alright, so let's get our gable roof. So I'll just simply click on this option once, and then our contextual window is going to show up like this. So we have create roof by footprint, and then I'm going to just use my option of pick walls. So for your case, it might be different. You might not use peak walls. You might opt to go with lines. So for my case, because I already have walls, it's just a matter of selecting this option. Once that's done, by design, we usually have this overhang. So this is a protection of our roof so that the water that comes from the roof does not really run down through the walls. But for this case, I want to show you a very interesting design that we're not going to install any overhang, but we're going to install rainwater goods, or in this case, just gutter systems. So once that's done, it's just a matter of selecting the wall. So this is one wall, and you can clearly see a magenta line has been created. Then the next, I'm just simply selecting the walls. So over here, I want the roof to extend to this level, but because this is not a wall, as you can clearly see, it's just an open extended area, we need to change the selection option. So I'm just going to simply click on that option, then click on that point, then at this other point. Additionally, I can just opt to delete everything by just tab select. So I'll hover my cursor over one line, hit on tab so that it selects everything, select, then hit on delete. So that I show you that you can also use rectangle. So select just the diagonals, opposite diagonals, and just like that, we have this roof created. Great, so you can clearly see that we have this slope inclination angle being shown here. So what is this and why is it so important? Simply put, these are just simply slope definitions. So it means that we have a drop on this side, a drop on this side, a drop on that other side, and a drop on this other side. But for Gable, as you're fully aware, it has only drops on two ends. And for this case, I want the drops to be on this longer side. So I'll just simply open my dash selection window so that I have these two lines selected. Then I'll just simply navigate to this option of define slope. I'll simply uncheck it, or alternatively, I can still navigate to properties and use the same command here. Not only that, it's important for you to understand once you have now these two lines that have slope, once selected, you can clearly see the dimensions of slope down here. So you can define your slope. Let's say we go with 45, then hit on apply, and just like that, now we have changed the slope. But you cannot see the roof. So if you just simply hit on finish edit mode, our roof is gonna create it, and just like that, it's now in place. So if I was just to select my 3D, you're gonna see this option of adjusting the slope of your roof. So you can go something crazy like this, where you have now the slope being like that, but obviously the rain is gonna disturb or spoil the roof. So let's go with something like 45, hit on apply, then we have that. But it's important for you to understand now our roof is not attached to the walls. So how do we do this? It's quite simple. All that you have to do is just simply select your walls. So for this case, I cannot select them under this specific window. So I need to open level 0 so that I have the option of windows. So I'll select everything, filter, check none, walls, hit on OK. Then just simply, you're going to find this contextual ribbon of walls. So I'll just simply hit on attach, top/base, then I'll just simply select on the roof on this 3D, and just like that, our walls have been extended to this roof. Great. Now let's look at free sketch roof. What is this free sketch roof? Simply put, this is just something that we come up with, let's say a freehand sketch, and then we come up with a press pull. What do I mean by this? It's quite simple. Just simply navigate to this option of roof, then select roof by extrusion. So select this option once, and then you're going to select the plane that you're going to do this specific sketch. So you're just going to simply go with this option, or if you have a reference plane, you can select from here. But for our case, we have none, so I'll select that, then I'll hit on OK. So what is the next thing that you ought to do? You need to select the face that you want to draw your sketch. So for this case, I want this specific wall. So I can just simply zoom in a bit so that you can see it clearly. This is a wall that is highlighted. So once I select that, it's going to give me this option of creating the roof reference level and offset. So I can specify the offset or the level at which it's going to be drawn. So I want it to be at level 1 where we currently have the roofs. So I'll click on OK. Then we'll have this contextual ribbon created, which is simply create extrusion roof profile. Once I'm in this option, I can just simply select any command that I want to come up with my free sketch. So let's go with something interesting like a spline. So I'll just simply start drawing from any point. Let's say here, I'm just simply hitting or clicking multiple points. Once done, I'll just simply right click, then hit on cancel. And you can simply see this is how the slope or the profile looks like. And if you want to see which specific plane that you're working on, you can just simply turn on this option so as to be certain that you're working on the right profile. But for our case, I can just simply turn off. And once you're finished sketching, all that you ought to do is very simple. Just finish on finish edit mode, and just like that, we can clearly see that our roof has been created. But it's not actually covering the whole area as it's starting on this face. So how do we change it? We usually have this grip markers, which you can clearly see here. So I'll just simply select on it, then I can just simply pull it so that we can have it around here. So let me just extend it even further. So I can use this manual one, or I can use my option here and input certain values, and it's gonna be applied within our drawing. So let's look, this other end looks okay. It's just a matter of just increasing the offset. Let's say we go, let's say something like 250, hit on apply, and that's okay. Let's do the wall attachment. So I'll just filter, check none, walls, then hit on OK. Once that's done, just a matter of attaching them to this specific roof, and we are done. So that's simply how we do it. So we now have our free sketch roof and our gable roof. So this is just the footprint of our sketch that we have. In the event that you're not satisfied with it, you can just simply hit on edit profile, select the specific view that you want to edit it, and you can be able to do that. But for our case, I'll just leave it as is. So now let's look at the M type of roof. So interestingly enough, the M type of roof is just simply two gable roofs. So remember, this is the gable that we have. So it's just two of these that we have placed here. So in Revit, if you try to place two sketches at the same time, you usually get a warning. So let's just go back to footprint and let's just simply come up with simple sketches. Let's say from that point up to around there, I'll hit on escape. Then from that point up to around there, just randomly. And if you try to hit on finish edit, you usually get this specific warning. You ought to have only one type of sketch. So what I'll do, I'll just hit on continue, then I'll dash, select this, then I'll delete it. Then I'll just simply fine tune it. So I can use AL on my keyboard for a line to that face up to there. Then I can just simply zoom in slightly from to that face up to around there. Once satisfied, let me just do away with this slope definition, and then I'll just hit on finish. So now we have one type of roof. I can opt to jump back to creation mode, or I can just simply copy this. So I'll just simply select this, use copy command here. I'll select that corner, and then I'll place it on this other face. If I'm not satisfied where exactly it has been placed, I can just align. So I'll just zoom in, AL on my keyboard, then I'll select that face, and then I'll place it there. So the question is, what will happen to the water that is flowing inside the room or inside the building? What we usually do as professionals, we just go under roof and then you specify gutter, and then you just simply select on that specific line. So if I was just to zoom in closer around here, you can clearly see that now we have a gutter added to this line, and all the water will be connected around here. So that's simply how we do it, and that's simply how we get our double type of roof or our M type of roof. So you can still do the same thing about our walls. You just simply select everything, hit on filter, check on none, select wall, hit on OK, then just simply hit on attach to top. And then you're going to just simply select one at a time. You're going to obviously get a warning because there are two different ones. Then you're going to hit on OK. Then you're going to jump back again to attach, and then you're going to select the other one. Then you're going to hit on OK. And just like that, now we have both of them attaching to the top of the roof. Great. Now let's look at the Moonlight type of roof. So what is this type of roof? Just simply put, this is a type of roof that has, let's say, a glaze or a curtain wall or a curtain roof on top of it. So how do you get to this? You ought to start with a normal type of roof. So I'll go to footprint. I'll select obviously level 1. Then I'll just come up with my rectangle from this corner here to this opposite end. Then I'll just simply remove these slopes that we have here, because I usually prefer not having my slopes here. I tend to find the design of Gable to be more beautiful, but depends now with the designer. So once I've done that, I'll just simply hit on finish mode. And once that's done, we're going to find something like this, but we do not have the light. So how do we bring in the light here? It's quite simple actually. Under the architecture tab, you're going to find this option of opening. So you're going to just simply select by face. And once that's done, you can just simply select this specific window, and if you're just to zoom in, you can clearly see it's been selected, where we have this cyan color showing that it's been selected. Then you can just come up with a sketch, let's say from this point here up to around there. Then if satisfied, you can just hit on finish, and just like that we have this opening. So I can just select this specific item that we have created, and that's simply how you're gonna have your Moonlight. Alternatively, you can use Revit families that we usually have, let's say like Windows. I'll just simply go to Window. So for this case, I have already loaded in Windows Roof Light. So for you to get it, just simply go to Load Family, navigate to Windows, and just simply scroll to where you're gonna find it within your library. So for my case, I have these multiple options, and you can go with either. So once you have brought it in, you can just simply place it, or you can even change the size. Let's say you want to go with this big one, you can just simply place it like that, and now you have your windows placed on top of your roof. So now let's look at the next type of roof. So it's the dormer roof. So to bring it in, I'll just simply click on here to activate level 0. Then I'm going to use the roof command, and I'm going to place my roof at level 1, and then I'm going to start with this rectangular option, and then I'll just start from opposite diagonal. So one point, then the next point, And then after I have placed it, I'll just hit on escape a couple of times, select on these two edges that we have this defined slope, and uncheck on this option or on this option here, just to have these two long areas to have defined slope. Then I want to change my slope from 30 degrees to 45. Then I'll just simply hit on finish. Once that's done, we have our gable in place. But where is our dormer? So to bring in our dormer, it's still quite the same procedure. You just click on roof again, specify level 1 again, and then we're going to use rectangular option, and then we're going to just simply place from, let's say, around this point up to around that point. Then in this case, I'll just select on these two longer edges, or this end and this end, so that we have our slopes on this opposite side. I'll uncheck that, and then I'll make sure that I hit escape a couple of times and change my slope to 45 degrees, so that now we'll have a symmetry in our roofs. After that's done, it's just a matter of clicking finish, and just like that, now we have this roof added here. But is it really connected with this parent roof? The answer is no. So how do we connect it? It's quite simple. All that you have to do is just simply select on this added one, and from this contextual ribbon, you're going to see this option of join/unjoin roof. So if you were to select on it, it's just a matter of selecting now the new roof that we have brought in. For our case, it's this one. And if you cannot see that exterior line or that end line that we have here, you can opt to change your display, let's say, to wireframe, so that we can see this edge or this roof. And then we're going to select on this face. You can clearly see where this magenta or cyan line that we have. And once I select that, we can have, let's say, this type of warning, so I can unjoin. So it just simply means that we have to move our roof either outside, and to do that you can use the direction keys, let's say just like this, just to nudge a bit, and it can be moved. Or alternatively, you can use edit footprint, and just like that you can be able to select like this, and then you can be able to move it to the exact point that you want. And let's just add a small offset, let's say 50, and then we can click on finish. After that's done, it's just a matter of doing the steps again. So I'll select this, and then I'm going to select on this specific face here, then the main face. And just like that, we can clearly see that it has been transformed to a joint element. But if you're just to zoom in slightly here, you're going to clearly realize that we do not have any light coming in, or this type of connection is close to impossible when it comes to the fill. So how are we going to add our, let's say, our opening here? It's quite simple. So under the architecture tab, under openings, you're going to find this option of dormer. So select on this option once, and it's just a matter of selecting now the parent roof. So just simply select the parent roof. Then you're going to be prompted to select either the roof or the wall edges. And for this case, I'll select the roof. So I'll select that roof edge. Then I'm going to select also this part. So we have this internal part, and just a matter of trimming. So use this TR or trim command. Just select. You have to be careful the direction that you select. So for now, I'll just Control Z so as to undo. So I'll select that point and that part, and then that line and this internal part, so that we have this closed triangle. Then I'll click on finish, and just like that, if you're just to zoom in, you'll clearly see what we have here. And you opt just to bring in, let's say, a curtain wall or a type of window. You can easily bring in, and it's quite simple. You can just, let's say, go to wall, architecture wall, and then you can use curtain wall. Let's say for our case it's around here, so we can set our base constraint to be around, let's say, at level 1. You can specify unconnected for now. Then we're going to just simply draw it. So let's say if we want to draw from, so let's say from that point to that point, and we have our curtain wall. So it's just a matter of just selecting this curtain wall and just going to edit profile, and we're going to draw the profile in accordance to what we have. So we're going to go with pick lines. So you can try to pick the lines around here if it accepts, or if it does not, you can just simply play around with these specific lines just to bring it in the place that you want. So it's just that simple. So for my case, I can just simply first select that, and then I'll just try to pick my lines around here. So my first line can be there, and my other line can be there, and then my final line can be there. So for this one, I'll select it, I'll delete it, and then I'm going to use trim or TR, just select that, then select that and that, and just like that, it's finished. So if we're just to click on, let's say, let's just change our base constraint from level 0 to level 1, so that we can also change this. Let's say we go with 20 base offset from level 1. So we'll just click on OK, and then we can just click on finish for now, just to see how it looks like. So it has gone really, really high. So because initially we had a base of level 0. So if we go to level 0 and hit on OK, is gonna just be placed where we wanted. So that's simply how we do our dormer type of roof, and you can obviously play around with it. You can just edit it, you can increase the size. If it's too small for you, let's say you go with something like this. So it's just a matter of changing this specific walls that you have, or just selecting this, inputting the distance that you want, let's say something like that, and you just click on finish, and the size is gonna increase accordingly to what you want. Great, so now let's look at hipped type of roof. So what is a hip type of roof? This is a roof that has slopes on all directions. So what do I mean? It's very simple. I'll just simply go to roof, select roof option, I'll select roof by extrusion, then I'll just simply select all around this specific building. And for this case, let's add an offset. So this is simply an eave, where we have this eave option, and then I'll simply click away. So after that's done, you can just simply hit on finish. If you click on the check option, it's gonna be finished. And currently we have it all set, but it's just a matter of selecting it, then just simply navigating back to properties and then changing the base offset to 0, and just like that, it's gonna be placed down there. Then it's just a matter of selecting our wall. So I'll jump back to level 1, making sure that I select my walls just like that. So for this case, we're in this specific project here. So I'll just select my walls like that. Then I'll go to filter, check on none, check on wall, hit on OK, then just simply hit on attach to top. Then I'll just simply select on this other 3D, and it's gonna be selected like that. And that's simply how we come up with our hip type of roof. So now let's look at the hip and valley roof. And simply put, this is a combination of the gable and the hip type of roof. And how do we come up with this in Revit? It's quite simple actually, and it's the one that you mainly use in any other type of design, roof by footprint. And you're gonna have this obvious warning that usually guides you so that you do not place your roof at the bottom or at the floor level. So for our case, we want it at level 1. I'll hit on yes, and then I'll just go with this option of pick wall, and I'll specify my overhang with 600, which is about 2 feet. So in that direction where we have dash line is the place where we're gonna place our roof. And if you're just to, let's say, opt that it goes inside, all that you have to do, so I'll just simply select that. Over here, I want it to be here. So I'll just simply select on this first, then I'll go back to line here, then I'll select that point. So I also need it to be with an offset of 600. So I'll first input 600 there. And if you want it to be toggled to the other side or flip to the other side, all that you have to do is simply hit on your spacebar on your keyboard, and it's gonna flip over. So I'll just simply hit on that so that we place it there. And we obviously need another line here. So I'll just simply select there, and then I'll just use my trim extend. So I'll select that, and then select this one, and then I'll select that, then I'll select that and that. And just like that, let's also clean around here. So I'll select this side and that side, so that we'll be left with that. If I was to hit on finish, we're gonna have our specific roof being all hipped round. So if I hit on finish, this is what we have. Let's just remove this offset and change it to 0. And this is what we exactly have. So we have all of our roof just being hipped, and this is a quite interesting design that we have come up with. But if we want one specific area, let's say to be gable, all that you ought to do is just simply select on this, hit on edit footprint, and then you can specify where you want it to be gable. Let's say we're on this side. I'll just simply select this specific line and check on define slope. Then you're gonna have a straight line without this specific symbol. And then if you hit on finish, this is what we're gonna have. And interestingly enough, when it comes to Revit 2025, under edit footprint, you're gonna have this tool option where we have Align Eaves. So in the event that you have your eaves that are different distance from the specific wall, you're gonna have these distances shown here. And if you want just to adjust, let's say the height, you can adjust the height. Let's say the distance at the terminal, let's say something like this, or the overhang total distance like that. So it depends with what you want. So it's quite simple. Let's say we go with height. If I was just to select on this specific line here, it's gonna simply reset it back to 0, and it's gonna be so easy for you to correct any lines or anything that you have issues. And once satisfied, if you hit on finish, you're gonna have a totally new type of footprint where we have a clean type of roof that we have created, just like that. So let's just simply select our walls so that we have a clean type of finish. So I'll just simply filter everything, walls, hit on OK, then just simply attach to the top of this specific roof, just like that, and it looks fantastic. So now let's come up with our final types of roof, which are quite simple to come up with, but they usually come in handy, especially when designing gazebos, so on and so forth. So how do we come up with a hexagonal type of roof? It's quite simple. Under roof, under footprint, you have this option. So I'll click on yes. You have this option of coming up with a hexagon completely from scratch. Let's say something like this. You can just simply go with something like this, and if you hit on finish, let's just remove this offset and place it to be 0. If you hit on finish, you're gonna have your hexagon. Not only that, let's just simply hit on edit footprint. I can just simply select everything, hit on delete. If you was to go with this option of draw of pick walls, I can still pick my walls with an offset of 600 mm, and we're gonna have a beautiful offset of our existing walls just like this, and then I'll just simply hit on finish. And not only that, you can also change the materials for all the roofs that you have over here just by toggling among the existing ones, or even going, let's say, with this type of glazing that we usually have within Revit. So let's go with this glazing, and all that I have to do is just simply hit on finish, and just like that we have this type of glazing. And if I was just to select on it, I can just hit on edit type, and I can give them mullions if I want. So I've already covered this in another video, and it's important that you just simply go and watch it so that you understand how these things are usually placed and their importance when it comes to Revit. So let's just specify we want to go with a maximum spacing of 500 for this case, as well as grid 2. So maximum spacing of 500 for these ones. And if you want to add for grid 2, we're going to just simply select over here so that we have them added, and then I'll hit on OK. And just like that, it's going to be updated within our design as well. So where they cannot be added, it's just going to simply delete them, and that is what we have. Obviously, the spacing is quite tight, so you can play around with this. So let's say 1000, while this other one is, let's say, 1500. Then hit on OK so as to see what we have. So delete the elements, and that's simply how it looks like. So how do we do for a circular one? It's still the same thing. Footprint, select level 1. So you can just opt to start with a completely new circle from the center, then draw your specific circle. This is important, especially in Africa, where we have usually roofs for our huts, and this is simply how we can just come up with a simple design. You can also opt just to, let's say, select this, edit your footprint. If I was just to delete this, you can also go with the same option that we had of picking your walls, specify an overhang, specify your wall offset just like that, and then specify your roof type, the one that you want to go with. So if you're satisfied with that, all that you have to do is just hit on finish, and just like that, it's going to be added within your design. So having said that, it's important for you to understand that all these roofs, you can obviously come up with now their timber structure or their decks, and we usually use this system of beam systems. And if you're interested, just kindly let me know down in the comment section, and I'll show you how to come up with your member trusses and also your purlins for your specific roofs. So this is simply how we do it, and this is a standard way of coming up with your roofs, just simply put. But obviously you can do so many other advanced designs. I know there are so many types of roof, more than 20 types of roofs out there that you can start learning as of today. So let's see how our beautiful village looks like, or our cottages. So I'll just simply use Lumion for rendering. I'll hit on start rendering. I have already my Lumion launched here in the background. So we want to bring in the project here. So let's see how it's going to look like once it comes within Lumion. So this is simply how it looks like. You can just simply see how our buildings look like, or our renders look like. So you can obviously play around with the materials that we have worked with. So over here, we did not attach these specific walls to the top of the roof. That's why we have here this look, but it can be easily done still within Revit, and it's going to be updated. So all that you have to do is just simply dash select all the walls that you have. So for this case, this is the specific area that we have this issue. So I'll just select that specific wall so that I can easily pinpoint where exactly they are. And then I'll just simply jump to level 0, and then I'll select my walls, filter, check on none, select on walls, hit on OK. Then I'll just simply go with attach to top, and then I'll select my roof here so that we can attach them to the top of our roof. The same thing will be done for this one. So all that I have to do is just to select all my walls here. So dash select, go to filter, check none, walls, hit on OK, then just attach to the top. Then I'll specify this specific roof that we have here, and just like that, it's gonna be updated. So let's see what we have in Lumion. Just like that, they have been updated and it looks fantastic and fabulous. So let's just go inside this specific building that we have here. So this is the main door, this is the entrance, this is how the lighting look like. If I was to go into this specific room, we have a beautiful moonlight that is coming in. If I was also just to go outside, let's say if we look at this specific area, we have beautiful lighting that is coming in within our building, and it looks fantastic. And this is how all these other buildings look like. This is our hut, and this is our hexagonal building structure that we have, and it looks fantastic over here. So this is just simply how you can do your simple designs so as to understand how all these things are tied within Revit as a professional. So obviously there's so many other things that you can still do within Revit, not only just creating your roofs, but you can always come up with paint. So you can select paint in here and you can paint your roofs to a specific color that you want and just make them more presentable.
And just like that, you've built everything from the clean basics to the quirky corners of roof design in Revit. You are not just placing slabs, you are shaping form, controlling function, and setting the tone of your entire project. So, if you are enjoying this kind of deep hands on Revit training, we've got something you should definitely check out. It's our Revit Architecture Essentials course, and it's 100% free to join. In this course, we'll cover everything from creating walls, roofs to full project workflows. And yes, you'll earn a certificate of completion when you finish this course 100%. The link of this course is in the description and also in the pinned comment. You can sign up and start learning right away. No conditions, no fluff. And if there is a tricky Revit topic or a feature you want us to break down next, just leave it in the comment and we might turn that comment into our next video. Catch you in the next one. Take care.